Hi everyone, welcome to Itsy Bitsy's live read of The Fat Girl's Guide to Loving Your Body by K.L. Montgomery. Start here. So, you bought this book, or maybe someone bought it for you. If so, wow, kind of presumptuous, huh? Now you're cracking it open and thinking, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe it's time to finally learn how to love my body. After all, I've been living in it for X years, and hating it hasn't worked out too well. Maybe this K.L. Montgomery lady, if that is even her real name, can help me learn to love my body. An aside, Krista Lynn Montgomery is the name on the birth certificate, so yep, it's real, even if I'm married now and use a different name for things other than books. But it's kind of weird to be called KL, so you can call me Krista if you'd like. Anyway, you're skeptical about the claim this book makes, right? I don't blame you. I would be too. Why is it so important to love your body? Why does it have to be love? I had someone ask me if accepting your body is good enough. What if you're just neutral about your body? Will that work? Why does it have to be love? I'm glad you asked. There are a couple of reasons, actually. For one, we need to remember the difference between like and love. If you're a mother, this will be an easy analogy for you to understand. You love your children unconditionally all the time, but that doesn't mean you always like them. It doesn't mean you don't want to spank them to kingdom come sometimes, or that you never want a break from them. You always love them. You know what I mean? Loving your body is the same way. You're not going to love it every minute, hour, or day. There are still going to be parts of it that bother you, things about it that drive you up the wall. But at the end of the day, you're never getting another body, so ultimately, you gotta love the one you've got. Secondly, we take care of things we love better than we take care of things we don't love, or feel neutral about. Why aim for feelings neutral or settle for mere acceptance when you could experience full-on unconditional love? That's what you say about a romantic relationship, right? What if you were filled with so much love and respect for your body that you treated it with kindness, gentleness, and filled it with whole foods that you enjoy eating, and plenty of exercise that you also enjoy, and stimulated your brain with all sorts of awesome things, because after all, your brain is part of your body too, even if we do tend to think of it separately. And you consequently ended up living a long and happy life. Or what if it wasn't even that long? But at least it was happy. No one sets out to live a miserable, pathetic, meaningless life, do they? We all want happiness, we all want meaning, and we deserve those things. You can have more happiness and meaning in your lives if you choose to love your body, even though it's hard, even though it's work, even though you won't always like your body. The simple fact remains that loving your body leads to making the best choices for it, which will lead to a better life in the long run. In the past, you might have had a set of conditions that needed to come to fruition before you love your body. Do any of the following sound familiar? If I just lose X pounds, I will be happy with my body. If I just fit into my size X jeans again, I will love my body. If I just work out hard enough and long enough and can finally see my X, abs, collarbones, biceps, thigh, gap, etc., I will finally love my body. If I can just find someone else who loves my body, I will love it too. If you've just been putting off living and enjoying your life because of many of those things, then I hate to break it to you, but you're missing out. Your life is happening right now. However old you are now, you're never going to be that age again. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but your life could be snatched away from you tomorrow. What if you did die tomorrow, and you never really enjoyed yourself because you thought you were too fat? It's a heartbreaking thought. The time is now, my dear reader. The time to love yourself and to live your life to the fullest, no matter your size, your shape, or your weight, is right this very minute. I hope, if nothing else, this book reminds you of the fact, but buckle up, Buttercup, because there's a long winding road ahead of you. What if I told you that loving your body, truly, unconditionally loving your body, is a choice you need to make every single day? Isn't something you can decide to do once and then you're good for the rest of your life. Must truly be unconditional. If it's really going to stick, it has to be an unconditional love. You can't beat yourself up for having low days or binge days or days you can barely stand yourself. You just realize those days are a part of your life, and you start fresh the very next day. What if I told you that loving your body isn't an automatic thing? You just don't flip a switch and then boom. It's self-love city all up in here. It's something you'll have to work really hard at, and it will take time. This book is designed to be used over the course of an entire year, and even after completing every single journal assignment, and there are a bunch, you will still need to work at it. What if I told you that once you learn to love your body, that you might not like it some days? As a matter of fact, there might be times when you are still completely disgusted by it. What if I told you there is no magic pill, no diet plan, no workout regimen, no doctor, no significant other, no fancy clothes that make you love your body? In fact, it's entirely up to you, and you alone. Do you still want to give it a shot? Would you still like to get to the point where you aren't disgusted, ashamed, embarrassed, or mortified by the shell that houses your soul? Do you think it would be worth it, even with all the hard work, the 2 steps forward and 1 step back? Well, you come to the right place, and trust me, it is worth it. You're worth it, and I want to help you believe that. Who are you, and why should we listen to you? It's a valid question. You just put a few bucks in my pocket by buying this book, and you must have thought you'd get something out of it. But you also may have wondered why I'm an authority on the subject. I'm going to start by telling you what I'm not an authority on, and I can't help you with. Yeah, I do things ass backwards sometimes. First off, I'm not a psychologist. I do have a bachelor's degree in psychology that I earned from Indiana University in 1996. But you know how bachelor degrees are. They really just mean I took like 12 psych classes that I remember slightly better than 2 years of French and calculus I took. I couldn't tell you shit about calculus. I'm going to be upfront about that right here and now. I also have a master's degree in library science. In a former life, I was a research librarian. Not that you give a single fuck about that. Oh, BTW, I curse sometimes. Sorry, not sorry. If you're super offended by curse words, this is probably not the book for you. Secondly, I'm not a doctor. I have had 0 medical training, so I'm not going to give you medical advice. If you have medical issues, you should definitely see a doctor. However, I do have first-hand knowledge of the way the medical community treats people of size, and you better believe I'm going to call out their lying, prejudiced, body-shaming asses in this book. Rubs hands together with glee. Thirdly, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give you any legal advice, nor anything I say be construed as legal advice. Why would I even bring that up? Well, because by the time we're done here, you may be feeling a wee bit luxurious and wanting to sue the pants off people who might have been outright lying and bullshitting you for your entire life. Yes, that includes doctors, parents, teachers, friends, and other supposedly well-meaning assholes, not to mention the entire diet industry. Now those fuckers actually should be sued. But I digress. I'm not a lawyer. Let's leave it at that for now. Phew, okay, enough of that. I sound a little angry, huh? I am. I am angry, and here's why. A lot of my life was stolen from me because people who made me feel like I wasn't good enough because I'm fat. When I was 10 or 12, my mother put me on my first diet. When I was 12, 13, 14, I was bullied about my weight by my peers. If you've ever read my book, Fat Girl, the scene where Claire is harassed by the boys at the fast food restaurant, that actually appeared to me when I was in junior high. When I was almost 15, I decided I was tired of being fat, so I limited my diet to lettuce, grapes, ice, and frozen yogurt, if I even ate at all. I exercised for at least 2 hours a day, running, swimming, weightlifting, aerobics. I weighed myself and took my measurements at least 3 times a day, charted all of that plus my calories in journals. I lost 40 pounds in 2 months, going from 174 pounds to 135. Guess what? I still felt fat. Although high school and college, I constantly yo-yoed between 135 and 175, back and forth, back and forth. Then at age 22, I got pregnant with my first son. I gained a staggering 80 pounds, but after he was born, I went back to my starvation and over-exercise routine and lost all the weight within 9 months. In 1999, I suffered from several miscarriages, piling on top of the weight I'd lost before getting pregnant with my second son, who was born in 2000. I ended up weighing to 275 after he was born. It took me longer to lose the weight, but thanks to my foolproof routine of starving myself and exercising multiple hours a day, I lost well over 100 pounds before he was 18 months old. The sick thing is that starving yourself gave me a high. Seeing that needle move down lower and lower was a rush I couldn't replicate with anything else I observed. Then I had son number 3 and ended up right back at 275. I never did lose all the weight after he was born. I think I got down to 205 at my smallest, but my body was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" It just refused to cooperate with my tired and true methods of starvation and overexercise. Sure, I'd lose 20 pounds here or there, but as soon as I even attempted to eat normally again, boom, I'd gain more than I lost in the first place. Yo-yo dieting and starving myself had destroyed my metabolism. It wasn't until 2015 that I decided enough was enough. By that time, my third son was 10, so I'd spent 10 long years battling my baby weight, and I almost weighed as much as I had when he was born. How much did I miss out on during those 10 years? How many events did I not attend, or did I just lurk in the background because I was ashamed of my weight? How many times did I shy away from being who I really am because I was afraid of people who would judge me? How many times did I feel worthless, undesirable, and unlovable because of the number on the scale or the size of my jeans? Too many damn times. That's when I wrote Fat Girl. That's when I realized that happiness is my choice. Loving my body is my choice. Letting others dictate the way I feel about myself is my choice. Not wearing certain clothing or putting myself in certain situations because of my weight is my choice. I was tired of the mentality that if I just lost X pounds, I would be happy, that I would go on that trip, that I would buy myself that dress, that I would do any number of things when I finally reached my goal weight. I had been waiting 10 years for that to happen, and it hadn't. I was 41 years old at that point. I lost what might have been the best decade of my life because I refused to cut myself some slack and realize the number on the scale or the tag in my jeans said nothing about what kind of human I was or what I deserved out of life. If you're in that wasteland, that pit of loneliness, unworthiness, and depression that I was drowning in those 10 years, I want you to know that it is possible to pull yourself out. All those feelings you have about your stomach, your thighs, your loose or saggy skin, your stretch marks, your cellulite, I've had them too. And I'm here to tell you that it does not matter one iota what you weigh or what your body looks like. There is a beautiful soul inside that body who is deserving of every happiness. And it's time for her to put on her crown and reign. Thank you for listening to this portion of this book.